Hey guys, this week for Weapons Wednesday, we're testing out this spiked battle club as well as some of the other new weapons we just added to the KarateMart.com website. But before we begin, if you just like this video and subscribe to our channel, that would be awesome. So last week, I showed you guys some of the most popular hidden weapons on the market today, and then I asked you to vote for which one you like best in the comments section. And it was a really close race too. There were actually two items that were almost tied in your votes. But the winner of last week's most popular hidden weapon was the tactical sword cane. Excellent choice, guys. I absolutely love this. I thought it was great because you could use it not only for swiping with the cane itself, but in order to deploy it, all you had to do was quickly pull out and you've got your sword right there available to you. The other hidden weapon you guys voted highly for was the self-defense sap cap. Another excellent choice. I really like this. The thing I actually liked the most about it was how comfortable it was to wear. It actually looked pretty good on me. So I don't know, I thought it was a very good thing to vote for. But there were a couple of comments in the comments section that I just wanted to respond to really quick. And one of them was about the sap cap. So let's see. We had Sean Clifford 362 commented on our feed, and I just want to say, hi Sean, I just really appreciate all your support every week. You're one of my favorite guys to talk to. But Sean asks the question, is the cap ventilated? Because like you, I live in the desert. And that's an excellent question, Sean. I had to look at the cap just to see, and it's not ventilated, but it is kind of made from a nylon material that seems very breathable. So when I had this on last week, it's fairly hot in our YouTube studio, and I didn't sweat at all on my forehead. So I felt like this was a very comfortable cap to wear. Now, we had a couple of other questions in our comments this week, and I just wanted to respond to those. So we actually had 3 people comment the exact same thing. We had Eric Angel 2984, William Speedy 8445, and Green Veggie Beast, which is another one of my favorite people that I talked to on there. They all said almost identically, Amanda has a dream job. She gets to work with various weapons and gets to take out her frustration on her boss. Nice. Well, that is true for sure, but I just want to say this job can be very challenging at times. Since the pandemic, there have been so many different challenges with our company, and the fact that I have Amanda as my general manager just means the world to me. I honestly could not run this business without her, so I absolutely love Amanda, and I love the fact that she can take out some of our aggression on me at times. Now, we had another comment on here from Stan Brewer 6079, and he said, poor Wing Chun dummy. Because it broke last week, the arm actually finally broke off. If you can't replace the arm, give him a proper Vikingish funeral. Maybe not floating out to sea with an arrow of fire, but a good bonfire send-off. He deserves a proper send-off for all his years of faithful service. I love that, Stan. I thought that was the most clever comment because this guy does deserve a proper send-off. So when we do get a new Wing Chun dummy, we'll definitely go and send this guy off correctly. But this week we're going to be looking at some of our newest weapons on KarateMart.com. So at the end of this video, just make sure you guys vote in the community tab which one of them you like best. And as always, there's links in the description to find out more information about each of these products. But without further ado, let's go on to our very first item. All right, so our very first new item is called the Desert Combat Hatchet. I love this. I think it's such a unique looking hatchet. And the thing I probably find the most unique about it is it's got this quick release plastic sheath to it. I mean, this thing is really interesting. I've never seen anything like it. So we've got this kind of belt loop back here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it on just to kind of show you guys how it works. So here, I'm just gonna go ahead and put it on my side. All right, you can see I've got it hooked to the side of my body. This is a really interesting little sheath. So what I like about it is how quickly I can deploy it. So let's say I'm walking along, someone comes to attack me, all I have to do, reach over, grab that little piece of fabric there, boom, got it ready for me. So I love that. I think that is probably the most exciting thing about this weapon. But let's take a look at the weapon itself. So first off, the thing that I noticed that's obvious about it is we've got this really nice nylon fiber handle. And then the ergonomics behind it are very interesting. We can see that we can kind of put our hand placement here, and then we've got a thumb rise here, which if we look at this correctly, that means that this is probably more of a tactical axe than a survival axe. I mean, you can tell that because if we're going to use this for tactical purposes, I've got very good control of this axe, whereas if I were to use it for survival purposes, I'd actually hold it down a little bit lower, and then it just feels a little bit off to me. So that actually begs the question of, can we throw this axe? And I do believe you can. I mean, the balance of this axe feels really nice. I think that that would throw very well. Plus, if you look at the angle of these blades, that's going to stick in anything very, very nicely. Now the blade itself is made from a 3CR13 stainless steel with a black finish to it, so that is going to be corrosion resistant for us. And then we can also see that we've got this little spike on the butt of the axe, so we can use that for splitting through wood or using it for different tactical purposes. We also have a lanyard hole on the end here if we wanted to add a wrist strap to it. Now, if we look at the blade, we can also see that we've got venting in the blade, which I don't think is going to take off a ton of weight on this axe, so I feel like that is more for aesthetic purposes. But I want to test this out a little bit. I want to see how comfortable this is to strike with. So let's go ahead and just destroy this Wing Chun dummy just a little bit more. I'm going to throw on some safety glasses so I don't get splinters in my eyes. And let's just chop right here and just see what that angle of the axe blade actually does to this thing. Okay, I mean, that's pretty good. We can see that the blade itself doesn't really have any damage. Oh yeah, it's still very sharp, so that's nice. Now I'm going to test the spike on the butt of this axe. Let's try that out. Okay, I mean, that stuck in pretty nicely. Yeah, so that's pretty awesome too, and I don't see any damage to that spike at all. Amanda, why don't you go ahead and give this a try as well? I'm curious with your smaller hands how that's going to feel for you.
I mean, I guess if I hold it up higher, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
For me, a little lower kind of feels more awkward to me.
Yeah.
Reverse grip, though, that actually feels kind of nice.
Okay.
So I like that.
Yeah, for throwing especially.
Yeah. All right, let's try it out.
Jeez!
I mean, it works really well for me, too. I would say it's a little awkward since my hands are smaller, but otherwise I like it a lot.
Okay, so what do you like best about this hatchet?
Honestly, it's the case for sure.
The case, yeah. That's my favorite part about it as well. But I honestly think that this is a really well-made hatchet, and I think this is going to hold up for you very, very nicely. So let's see. The overall length is approximately 11.5 inches. The width is approximately 6.5 inches, and it weighs about 1 pound 3 ounces. So that's a pretty good weight, especially if we're going to throw that. I think it'd be nice for throwing. But that's about all I have to say about that. So I'm going to go ahead and put this away. And let's move on to our very next weapon. All right, and our next weapon is the Roman Gladius Sword. Nice. I'm actually going to take off these safety glasses. So this Roman Gladius Sword is kind of interesting because we haven't decided whether or not we want to carry it yet. It seems like a really nice sword, but it's kind of at the upper end of pricing, and we just want to make sure that it's going to hold up really well for our customers. The manufacturer stated that it is a battle-ready sword, and whenever I hear that, I think to myself, I really need to test this out to make sure that it is actually a battle-ready sword. But if we take a closer look at this, first off, we can see that it's got this black leather-covered scabbard to it, and then we've got these little D-rings on here, which allow you to hook it to your outfit. So that's kind of a nice little touch on there. But I want to see the sword itself, so let's just take a look at this. All right, check that out. That looks like a really nice Gladius sword. So as far as like a display sword or a historical replica, I think that looks really nice. This would look really good hanging on a wall, on your desk. But the thing I noticed right away is that it's very, very heavy. The sword weight is approximately 3 pounds. So if you don't have enough strength to actually wield this, I don't know if it's going to do any good for you. Amanda, here, why don't you hold on to this and just see what you think of it?
Oh yeah, that's definitely very heavy. I'd probably get tired from using it pretty quickly.
Do you want to go ahead and just give it a couple of swipes on the Wing Chun dummy? Oh, wow, okay. So you were able to get quite a bit of force with that.
I mean, yeah.
Nice, look at this. That's awesome.
Yeah, being heavy does help with that a lot.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so the blade itself is made from a carbon steel. Now, the manufacturer would not tell us what type of carbon steel it is, so I want to test this just to make sure this is going to actually hold up to a combat situation. Now, the hilt itself actually looks really nice. We've kind of got this black and metallic gold colored emblems across the hilt. We've also got this hand guard on here to protect your hand, and then we've got this big ball-shaped pommel at the end down there, so that's not going to slip out of your hand easily at all. But let's go ahead and test it out. I'm going to throw back on my safety glasses, and let's just beat the heck out of it, because I want to see if this blade's going to bend or anything by using it. So let's see. I think we're actually going to slice this Wing Chun dummy in half today.
Poor guy.
I mean, it's holding up pretty nicely. I was slightly concerned that the blade was going to bend up here or something, but it's holding on really well. Let's check out the tip on this. Oh yeah, I mean, look at that. That just stuck in just beautifully. So, and that's in pretty deep too. The tip looks really good still, didn't do any damage to it at all. I'm going to try slicing from the side and just see if we can damage this blade. So just move back just a little bit. All right, here we go. I mean, I feel bad for this Wing Chun dummy, but that thing is holding up actually really nicely, so I'm fairly impressed with this. Amanda, do you want to give it any more tests, or are we good on this thing?
No, I feel bad for the Wing Chun at this point.
I feel bad for it too. That's kind of sad. But yeah, so I think we probably should carry this because it actually held up pretty well. It is going to be a little bit higher end as far as our sword pricing goes, but I'm actually really impressed with this. Now, the overall length is approximately 28 inches. The blade length is approximately 20 inches, and the sword weighs approximately 3 pounds. But that's about all I have to say about this, so I'm going to go ahead and put this away, and let's move on to our next weapon. All right, and our next weapon is the Dark Venom OTF knife. Awesome, awesome. I love OTF knives. And for those of you who don't know, OTF actually stands for out the front. And it just means that it's an automatic knife which has the ability to deploy and retract the blade very, very quickly. In fact, these specific OTF knives can deploy and retract a blade in less than 3/4 of a second. So that's pretty impressive. But first off, if we take a look at the case, we can see that it's got a very nice heavy-duty nylon sheath to it. And it's got a belt loop on here. And then you see this a lot on OTF knives. You can see that it's got this kind of security buckle on here. And what that does is that just makes sure that the blade's not going to open up on you and come out of the case. So I actually really appreciate that aspect of these cases. All right, look at that. That is pretty cool. Now you can kind of see why we call it the Dark Venom OTF knife. Some things I really like about this, the handle itself has these really nice ergonomics to it, so it feels very comfortable in my hand. I also love the fact that if we flip it over, we've got jimping up here. So in reverse grip, we've got really good control on that as well. Now the handle itself appears to be made out of some sort of zinc alloy. And then it's got this really nice red camo design to it, which I just love that. I think that looks so stealthy and so cool. But I want to see the blade itself. So let's go ahead and just open this up really quick. Look at that, that is so awesome. Now the blade itself is made from a D2 steel. D2 steel is known for being very wear resistant and durable, and this one specifically has a black finish to it, so that's gonna make it more corrosion resistant as well. And then we can also see that it's got this really nice heavy duty sturdy steel pocket clip on there. Now the overall length of this is approximately 8.5 inches. The closed length is approximately 5 inches, and the blade length is approximately 3.5 inches, and it weighs approximately 6 ounces. But one thing I really want to mention is that OTF knives and automatic knives have very strict laws when it comes to them, so make sure you check your local laws just to make sure you're not doing anything wrong. And we don't carry OTF knives on KarateMart.com, we only carry them on Combative.com, so you can get this knife on Combative.com. But I love this. I think it's awesome. Let's go ahead and test it out just a little bit. So if I needed it, out comes the blade, boom, sticks in really, really nicely. That was very comfortable. Let's go ahead and pull that out. Still in good shape, in and out, in and out. That's great. If I wanted to throw into a reverse grip, let's just see how that works. Oh yeah, look how far that went in there. That's awesome. So I am loving this knife. I love the look of it. I love it. Amanda, here, you give it a whirl.
Okay.
All right, how's it feel on your hand first off?
Oh, I mean, it's very comfortable for me. Like the ergonomic grips still work for my hands too, even though they're smaller. So I do really like that aspect of it.
Okay.
And let's see. I mean, I could get it to stick.
So that is a really nice OTF knife.
Yeah, I think so too. And like reverse grip. And yeah, I mean, that stuck in so easily. That really wasn't even much effort at all. That's why I really like D2 steel.
Oh yeah, definitely. It seems to hold up really, really nicely. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and yank that sucker out. Oh yeah, still in great shape. I love OTF knives. I think they're so much fun. So again, only available on combative.com, but that's about all I have to say about this. So let's go ahead and put that away and move on to our very next weapon. All right, and our next weapon is the spiked battle club. Look at this. I love this. It looks like a fantasy weapon or a cosplay weapon, but what's so cool about this is it can be actually used for combat. This is made from 100% polypropylene, which we've learned in recent videos that polypropylene actually holds up just beautifully. I mean, let's go ahead and hit the Wing Chun dummy first. Yeah, I mean, that does no damage. Those little spikes right there are actually going to dig in really, really hard into this wood. We also have this spike on the end up here, so if we want to use it for thrusts, I mean, that thing is just awesome. You could totally use this for thrusts. I mean, honestly, this would be a really good weapon to just have. It's a completely non-metal weapon, and it's going to hold up really nicely for us. We've got these concrete blocks over here. I actually wanted to test it on this because a lot of time when people hear polypropylene, they're like, that's just going to break on you. So let's see if it actually does with some concrete blocks. So I already have my safety glasses on. Everyone's out of the way. Let's do this. Oh yeah, just broke right through it. No problem at all. Oh, it did scuff up some of the spikes though. You can see some of the spikes kind of got messed up a little bit, but it still broke through a concrete block. So that's pretty awesome. One thing I should mention about polypropylene though is if it does get too cold, like if it gets below freezing, it can actually snap. I know that because when I was a kid, probably about 7 years old, I had this favorite toy that was like this big monster. He was about 2 feet tall. He kind of looked like the Rancor beast from Star Wars. And I used to carry him around everywhere. And I remember one time I built this snow fort and I brought my little beast outside and I put him on a sled to just kind of slide down the snow fort a little bit. And when he hit the bottom of the ground, his arm broke off. It was so sad. It was such a sad day for me. But the overall length of this is approximately 25¼ inches long, and it weighs about 1 pound, 6.4 ounces. The only other thing I forgot to mention is that it does have a lanyard hole back here, so we can add a wrist strap if we want to. Let's see, how else can we test this thing, Amanda? Oh, hey, we've got, so this is called the Spiked Battle Club, but we've also shown off the Spiked Combat Club right there. So you want to grab that guy? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hold this, and you can just strike me from over the desk. I'm going to hold this. In fact, here you go. Just going to have you put these guys on. All right, just in case. Okay, so I'm going to hold it like this and just strike me as hard as you can. Nice. Good. Okay, this is kind of scary to be, to be honest. But yeah, you can see this is polypropylene as well. There's no damage to this. The spikes on this still look really nice. I mean, there is a little bit of doling to some of the spikes, but Amanda was striking really hard. So I don't know. I think this thing is awesome. I think this could be an excellent combat weapon as well. But that's about all I have to say about this. So if you guys could go to the community tab and vote for which of these weapons you like best. And if you have any questions, definitely leave them in the comments below. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel. And check out KarateMart.com because we've got all sorts of really awesome weapons on there right now. But until next week, we'll see you Weapons Wednesday.